You're staring at a patch of reef, rock, coral, algae, nothing. Then, a corner of it peels away and swims off. In about a fifth of a second, an animal you never saw rewrote its entire surface, color, texture, every bump to match the rock it was hiding against. You were watching, and you lost. Now here's the part that doesn't fit. It did that while being, by every test we have, colorblind. It cannot see the color it just became. If that feels impossible, good. The animal is an octopus. And the colorblind thing? That's only the first crack. Here's the paradox, and you can hold it in one sentence. This animal matches colors it cannot see, and most of the mind doing it isn't in its head. An octopus has around 500 million neurons, roughly a dog's worth of brain. But 2/3 of them sit outside the brain entirely, down in the arms. So the real question here isn't how it hides, it's this. Evolution built a mind on Earth a second time, and almost none of it sits in the head. So what is it actually like to be that? By the end, you won't see a clever animal doing tricks. You'll see a body that thinks for itself, and a head that's almost along for the ride. We follow it down one layer at a time. The first layer is the trick you just watched it pull. If the mind really lives in the body, the camouflage is where you'd see it first. So watch the camouflage. You already have a mental model for this, and it's wrong. The chameleon. A chameleon shifts color slowly, over seconds, mostly to signal mood or temperature, not to match a background. It's a mood ring. The octopus is not a mood ring. One day octopus species, filmed while foraging, repatterned its entire body about 177 times in a single hour, roughly 3 full costume changes a minute. Here's what almost everyone believes. The octopus sees the rock, reads the color, and matches it. Sounds obvious. It's also impossible, because the octopus is functionally colorblind. It has one kind of light detector in its eyes, where you have 3. So how do you match a color you can't see? The answer is that it isn't only seeing with its eyes. In 2015, researchers found octopus skin carries the same light-sensing protein the eye does. Cut a patch of skin loose in a dish, shine light on it, and the color cells fan open on their own. No eye, no brain involved. The skin senses light directly. And the whole change runs on nerves, not hormones, the brain firing straight at the color cells like keys on a piano. That's why it's instant, not slow. How it then picks the right color while colorblind is, honestly, still an open question. Nobody's fully cracked it. This is the one machine the rest of this video is about. A nervous system that doesn't stay in the head. It's pushed outward, into skin that senses light, and into arms that decide for themselves. And once you accept that the thinking is spread through the body, not locked in the skull, the camouflage stops being the impressive part. It becomes the smallest thing this animal does. Because if the body is where the mind lives, every part of that body should be able to act like it has one. So watch what happens when you let the arms off the leash. So, let me tell you what scientists have actually watched an octopus arm do after it's been cut off the body. Keep that in the back of your mind. It's the one detail that tends to break people. Start with the arms, because that's where most of the mind is. 2/3 of those 500 million neurons live in the 8 arms. Call it 330 million, more than a rat has in its whole brain, and they're out in the limbs. Each arm has enough wiring to feel, taste, and decide on its own. An octopus arm will find food and start reaching for it before the central brain seems to know it's there. The brain doesn't micromanage. It hands down a goal, go that way, and the arm works out the rest, the way you don't plan each finger when you catch a ball. 8 limbs, each one half running itself. That's not a brain with arms. It's closer to 9 minds learning to agree. Which brings back that severed arm. Octopuses do lose arms to predators and regrow them, and a cut-off arm doesn't just twitch. It keeps tasting the water. It reaches toward food. It will even take a scrap and try to pass it toward where the mouth used to be, on a body that isn't there anymore. The arm doesn't know the octopus is gone. As far as it's concerned, there's still a job to do. Each arm is, partly, its own little animal. Okay, this is the part of the video where it stops being a nature documentary and turns into a problem for philosophy. Because the next thing the octopus does, it does to its own brain, on purpose. Your genes are basically fixed instructions. DNA writes the order, RNA carries it out. The body obeys. Octopuses cheat. They rewrite the RNA, the message itself, on the fly, in over 13,000 places, retuning the proteins their own nervous system is built from, sometimes within hours, to suit the water they're sitting in. Cold snap, retune the nerves on the spot. It's the difference between following a recipe and editing the recipe mid-meal while it's still cooking. And they do it most heavily in the brain. The catch, it nearly froze their DNA evolution. They bought flexibility right now by trading away change across generations. Now pull back from the brain to the whole impossible body. 3 hearts. 2 push blood through the gills, 1 drives it to the body. And that 3rd heart stops every time the octopus swims, which is part of why it would rather walk. The blood runs blue, copper-based, not iron like yours, and steering that alien hardware is a planner. In 2009, researchers filmed octopuses off Indonesia collecting discarded coconut shell halves, stacking them and hauling them clumsily, slowly, the most awkward errand in the sea, as far as 65 feet, about 5 car lengths, to reassemble into armor later. Carrying a tool that's useless right now for a threat that hasn't arrived yet. That isn't reflex, that's a future being held in mind. And then there's what it does while it's asleep. In 2023, researchers caught octopuses cycling into a sleep state with bursts that look like our REM, the stage where humans dream. During those bursts, the skin erupts. The exact color patterns it uses while awake, hunting, hiding, warning, race across the body of an animal that's using them for nothing at all. Picture sleep talking, except your whole skin is doing it, out loud, in a language you only speak while hunting. Nobody can yet say what that is, but a body replaying its waking life across its skin while it sleeps is, at the very least, replaying something. Call it a dream or don't. Either way, something in there is having an experience you will never get to share. And right about there, the doubt kicks in. Because a reasonable part of you is already loading up an objection. And all of it circles one stubborn unknown. There's a mind in there, built on a plan nothing on land shares, and we have no idea what living inside it feels like. Here's the part that should feel personal. You think of your mind as the thing behind your eyes, in charge, running the show. It isn't, not entirely. Wrapped around your gut is a second nervous system, hundreds of millions of neurons, by some counts close to 500 million, monitoring and deciding and reacting without ever checking in with your brain. Your hand leaves a hot stove before you feel the burn. The octopus isn't doing something alien to you. It took the part of you that runs quietly in the background and built a whole animal out of it. And here's where you might reasonably push back. Fine, clever body, strange wiring. But real intelligence, the kind we actually respect, is social. It gets built between minds, cooperation, politics, reading each other. And the octopus is famously a loner. So maybe this is just a very fancy reflex machine, not a mind in any sense that counts. It's a fair objection. It's also, as of recently, wrong. Off the coast of Australia, divers found something octopuses weren't supposed to build: settlements. Sites nicknamed Octalantis and Octopopolis, as many as 16 octopuses living in clustered dens, evicting each other, hurling debris. And researchers have documented octopuses hunting in mixed groups with fish, often leading the hunt in a 2024 study. When a fish slacks off or lunges for prey it hasn't earned, the octopus reaches over and punches it. Not metaphorically, a deliberate corrective shove. And to punish a freeloader, you have to model what another mind is doing and weigh it against what it should be doing. That's social cognition from the loner. So the objection doesn't shrink the animal, it deepens it. This isn't a clever pet, it's a second, complete way of being a mind, running the same hard problems you do, hiding, hunting, sizing each other up, from a blueprint that branched away from our own line deep in evolutionary time. Which leaves the strangest question of all. If a mind this different has been right here the whole time, How did we manage not to see it? So step all the way back. Life on Earth invented the eye more than once. It invented flight more than once, and at least once in an animal that branched off from our ancestors around 550 million years ago, before there were fish, before there was anything you'd call a face. It invented a mind. A second time, on a completely different plan. Evolution built a mind on Earth a second time, and almost none of it sits in the head. So what is it actually like to be that? We still don't know. We may never. But that's not the unsettling part. The unsettling part is the reef. Go back to where we started, that patch of rock and coral and algae that turned out to be an animal watching you. It was never hiding from you, not really. It was just built so differently that your eyes slid right over it. And so did your idea of what a mind could be. Because if a boneless, 8-armed mind can vanish into a patch of reef, its largest cousin has spent centuries hiding in plain sight across the open ocean. And we kept writing it off as a sailor's myth. We've been scanning the sky for an alien mind. It was hiding in the shallows the whole time.